So, 3 years after Google launched Live Transcribe in 2019, Apple has finally given us deaf people what we've been waiting for all these years. Do you know what that is, Simon? Live captions. So if you're an Android user, if you have a Pixel, if you have a Samsung phone, it doesn't matter if it's Android, you probably noticed that you have an app called Live Transcribe, and what that does is it transcribes words in real time. If I were to go up to someone and I held up my Pixel, which is currently somewhere here, if I held it up to a person that is talking to me, it would transcribe what they're saying. And in my opinion, it is absolutely fantastic software. It is the best live captioning anything that is out on the market currently. It beats Zoom captions. I like it better than the voice to text apps like the big app that's on Apple. It's my favorite. The only reason the Pixel has never been my daily driver is because it's easier for me to work through a whole Apple ecosystem. But it is annoying having to carry 2 separate phones and you only have a SIM card for one. Why Apple hasn't come out with captions until 2022, I don't even know. But The Verge came out with an article yesterday announcing it, so we're gonna read through that. Apple will bring live captions to the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. On Tuesday morning, Apple announced a new wave of accessibility features for its various computing platforms, which are set to roll out later this year as software updates for the iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple Watch. Apple said it will beta test live captions that can transcribe any audio content, FaceTime calls, video conferencing apps with auto attribution to identify the speaker, streaming video, or in-person conversations in English across the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. Google's push for live caption features began around the release of Android 10 and are now available in English on the Pixel 2 and later devices, as well as select other Android phones and in additional languages for the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. So it's good to see Apple ecosystem catching up and bringing it to even more people. Yeah, so with my Google Pixel, I have the 4A, so it's an older model, but it captions calls, it captions video when I'm just scrolling through on Twitter, which sometimes can be annoying, but you can turn it off. And when I'm using Chrome, if I'm watching a video that doesn't have captions, if it's on Twitter or something, there you go. Also really came in handy for my Instagram friends and other people that I follow who don't use the caption sticker on Instagram, and they make a video. If I need to know what they're saying and I don't want to put my hearing aids in, I can use the Google Live captions. It's amazing. Like Android's implementation, Apple says its captions will be generated on the user's devices, keeping information private. The beta will launch later this year in the US and Canada for iPhone 11 and later, iPads with the A12 Bionic CPU and later, and Macs with Apple Silicon CPU. I just got a new iMac a couple weeks ago, and that's what I'm excited for. But Apple, what took you so long? So I don't know the exact date of it because the article on The Verge just says it's later on this year, but we're in May now, so we're about halfway through the year, so hopefully it won't take that much longer, because if I could just have it all right here instead of having to carry 2 separate phones with me, that would be great. I mean, yeah, I have hearing aids in. Does it make things easier? Yeah. Also, can I just use my voice to text app? Yes, but actually that's a little bit annoying because you have to push a button and then they have to say it and then they have to stop talking and then it, does what it needs to do to transcribe, and it's a little bit more fussy than simply just turning on a live captions, a live transcribe, and then it just smoothly does everything that it needs to do. One thing I'm going to be curious about is with Google Live Transcribe, originally it was just words, but then eventually they made it so that it would pick up sounds. So if a baby was crying, it would say that. If people were laughing, it would say that. Granted, sometimes the sounds weren't accurate. It would say that there was a baby crying when there's no babies around. I hope there's no babies around. Suddenly I'm concerned. So I'm wondering if that's what Apple is going to go ahead and come out with when it launches, rather than it just being like, oh, well, we're going to caption what people are saying, but in terms of sound effects, we're going to be doing that later. You're supposed to be ahead of the game. You're Apple. So I'm curious to see exactly what they're going to do with that. It's definitely going to be a game changer for oral deafies who, don't know ASL or don't know enough ASL and don't really feel comfortable using like a video relay operator. For me, I'm that person. Like I'm good with conversation, your casual conversation, but if I'm going to be making a doctor's appointment or something like that, I would much rather just use a text relay on my computer, or I email. But still, if you're in a pinch and you just got a question or something to ask, and you just go through a regular phone call and it has the captions, similar to what an old school caption phone does, but instead now you could just have it on your smartphone instead of needing a separate phone and a landline and all that. That's going to be a game changer. Some people might argue that, oh my god, you can just get VRS. It doesn't matter, because not everybody is going to be using an ASL or a sign language interpreter, you know. So if you're just someone who uses spoken language only, and you can have it all right here and something you already carry around a lot, I'm here for it. And also, of course, being able to find out finally what people are saying, watching on Instagram stories or videos on Twitter, things like that, news reports. A lot of that comes in caption. More people are captioning, but not everybody is captioning. So still, a lot of the times, information isn't accessible. So having that is going to work. I just hope that it's going to be the same amount of good as Google Live Transcribe. I might expecting it to be a little bit better. Who knows? As long as it's up to par, as long as it's on the same level at the very least, I'm excited to see where this goes. If you have an opinion, so down below in the comments, if you use iPhone, I want to know what you think, and if you are an Android user, a Pixel user, if you've been using Live Transcribe, let me know what you think. And I love technology and accessibility. Sometimes I love my job. If you weren't made aware, I do have a Patreon page, so for more exclusive content, be sure to check that out. You can get access to lots of stuff for just $1 a month. I will have that link down below. Also, there is a super thanks now under this video somewhere. If you would like to send a couple bucks my way to support my work, always appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and making it all the way to the end here, and I will see you later.